Hey, it's Chris from Two Brain Business, and my guest today is Dave Colina from Drink O2. Dave's story is a great one. He started off by identifying something that would help the other members of his gym. And when he started coaching, he found that more and more gyms wanted to get on board with this, and eventually he founded Drink O2. But the real story started when COVID hit because Dave saw an opportunity to take some action to help out gyms, and he did it. He pulled together a bunch of different companies, and together they took some action that helped out some gyms in the short term, and then learned from that experience and started helping more and expanded that help. And now today on the show, he's going to reveal an amazing new initiative that you can all benefit from. I'll give you some specifics on how exactly it's going to help your gym. But more than anything, I just want you to have this story of somebody who's getting rewarded for doing the right thing. And I don't think we hear these stories enough. So, Dave Colina from Drink O2, enjoy. Dave Colina, welcome to Two Brain Radio.
Thanks, man. Good to be here.
Yeah, we've been trying to do this for a while, and you have such an interesting story to tell. Maybe we could start with the founding of Drink O2. What led you to that?
Yeah, so I'll actually work my way backwards here. So for people who don't know what O2 is, so we are the official one-liner on the company here. Is O2 is an Inc. 5000 carbon neutral company that makes clean hydration and recovery drinks that are packaged in sustainable cans. And so that's been a journey to get to that point. With the Inc. 5000 thing and the carbon neutral thing, which we're super excited about. And that journey started out of the back of my car about 7 years ago. And unfortunately, it's not an overstatement to say that O2 launched out of the back of my car. And I still have that car. I was a one-man show for the first year and a half of the business. And I didn't come from a beverage or a startup background. I worked in corporate strategy for about 5 years at a Fortune 100 insurance company. But I did have a little bit of an entrepreneurial experience. I actually cut my entrepreneurial teeth founding a private nonprofit charter high school in Columbus. And so it was through that process that kind of became my night job. And then I had this demanding day job. And so it was through that process where I became hooked on, a pretty unhealthy sports and energy drinks. So that's the founding story around O2 revolves around this nasty habit of Gatorade and Red Bull that I had. And so I set out to make something better. And I partnered with a physician friend of mine who was and still is a medical doctor at Ohio State on the formulation. And he and I developed O2, with a lot of trial and error over the course of a couple of years. And then we finally launched it out of the back of that car. And so we've always been rooted in the fitness community because after I left my day job, I started coaching CrossFit. And so that's how we kind of got our footing in the CrossFit market. I managed to convince a bunch of friends of mine who own gyms to carry my product as a favor initially. And then it did really well from there.
That's amazing. Where were you coaching CrossFit, Dave?
It's a gym in Columbus called Buckeye CrossFit.
Buckeye, yeah, great one. And how long ago was that? You said, was that 7 years?
So O2 launched 7 years ago.
Okay.
I started coaching, let's see, first it was martial arts, and then that led me into CrossFit. And so I started coaching CrossFit, I think in 2012. Yeah, 2012. And then coached for a couple of years, and then O2 launched.
Beautiful. Okay. But the story really starts to like grow to its crescendo during COVID, right? So what happened then?
Yeah, so I mean, we'd been growing pretty steadily from inception. Now, granted, we were starting with a small base, but we were growing about 100% year over year each year. And over the course of time, we got to a point where the majority of O2's revenue was coming from gyms carrying our product. So mostly CrossFit gyms, some smaller boutique fitness studios, but it was all independently owned gyms. And so one of the two things that I think I got right with the business at the outset is that we've always been very oriented around doing the right thing, especially when it's hard. Like we're very much a values-driven company. And so when COVID crept up, I am sure like you and a lot of listeners had my eyes on what was going on with COVID well before March. And so we were we were as ready for it as we probably could be, but we still didn't know what the hell to do, you know. But we did see, let's see, I think we had 70% of our revenue was tied up in the gym channel, and that effectively shut down within a week, you know. And so it was that weekend of March 15th that I think back as that's when shit really hit the fan. And so like I said, I wasn't sure what to do, but I did know that the other thing that I think I got right at the outset, everything else has changed, but the other thing that I think I got right at the outset was the liquid formulation of the product. People who drink O2 drink a ton of it, and it's always been really, really well received. And so we knew that gym members were going to continue buying O2 when gyms shut down. They were just going to shift their purchasing from their gym to drinko2.com, you know. And we were fortunate in that, I mean, it sucked that so much of our revenue shut down, but man, we were fortunate that we had another channel that was fully functional, and that was our website. So we decided that the right thing to do was not to just sit back and let that happen. The right thing to do was to do what we could to share some of the upside with gyms that would have been otherwise capturing that revenue from gym members purchasing O2. So on March 18th, we announced that we were going to split the profits from every case of O2 that was sold to a gym member online. We're going to split the profits directly 50-50 with that gym member's local gym owner. And when we announced that, we saw our online sales, I mean, it 10x'd, literally. You know, the community showed up in a really big way. We did not expect that at all. We just thought it was the right thing to do. And within 3 days, we had done more sales of O2 online than our best month ever. So it was wow. Really crazy. Yeah.
Doing the right thing pays off.
And I think that that's a testament to the community too. You know, people really appreciated that. And it wasn't so much about O2 as it was, hey, this is a great sort of non-awkward way to support my gym owner. Instead of Venmoing them $20, I can, you know, buy a few cases of O2 online and everybody wins, you know?
So it seems obvious to me that the next step would have been, you know, what else can we do for this community? Because it had just been such a win for everybody involved.
100%, totally. So I knew within a few days that there was something there. And so I reached out to a few other friends of mine who have brands that are you know, popular in the CrossFit community. Bear Hanlon is one of them, from Born Primitive, and he was my first phone call. And I told him, you know, look, we're doing this thing. We're sharing our profits with gym owners, and people are being really, really responsive. Do you guys want to get on board with Born Primitive and, you know, honor that same profit sharing commitment? And, you know, in typical fashion, he's like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so those guys came on board the following week. And then we managed to get a few other brands on board over the course of the next few weeks. And over the course of March, the last 2 weeks in March and the last 3 weeks, or the first 3 weeks in April, our brands combined, we had about five brands in this coalition. We generated almost $250,000 in cash to give back to about 2,000 gyms that were participating.
Wow.
That was impactful, man. I mean, you know, $250,000 isn't an insignificant amount of money. And I think that what we did best was we were the first domino to fall that really rallied the community around the gym support, you know, and we knew that that spread out among 2,000 gyms, $250,000 is going to come out to about, you know, $1,000 or excuse me, $100 a gym. So it's not life changing, right? But it was more the spirit behind it, you know, and the show for the community.
So just for people who don't know, Dave, like when you say that you came together and you did this thing, like what did the community coalition look like at that point?
It was, we were flying by the seat of our pants at that point. I mean, we did brand it. So we branded it the Community Coalition, which we thought was fitting to, you know, a group of brands that are all devoted to this community coming together to do something impactful for that community. And it was O2, Born Primitive, Peori, and another brand called Chomps, and then Bear Complex came on towards the end. So we had a powerful consortium of brands, and so each group kind of told each other's audience what they were up to, and there was some cross-pollination there as far as marketing goes, and the whole idea was rooted in the, that principle that the the sum of the parts can be greater than the whole, sort of thing. So it was a powerful initiative for sure.
And how did it work? I'm sure some people here just aren't familiar with it. So you would go to communitycoalition.fitness and sign up, and then what happened?
Yeah, so we actually, I don't think we stood up that website at that point, but what we did was we basically created 2,000 or 2,500 coupon codes that were unique, that gym owners could share with their members, and each one of those unique codes would tie back to the gym, and it would also get their members a special offer on our website and Born Primitive's website, Bear Complex's website. So it was just a great way to, get a deal that on the member side, but at the same time support, what I think is the hub of community in CrossFit, which is the affiliate. And we saw people be really, really responsive to that. So it was a simple solution.
So Dave, this all happened really, really fast. Like
Yeah.
between mid-March and the end of March, you were really getting the gears going.
Yeah.
Was anybody else doing anything at this time to kind of rally the community together?
I think so. As I mentioned, I think we were the first to move, and that's one of the benefits of being, small and agile. Like we pulled this together really, really quickly. I mean, it was March 18th when we made this, the first initiative come to fruition. But I think, I like to think that we inspired some action among some larger companies and larger organizations. But I know that, CrossFit was doing something. Loud and Live was super supportive. They pulled something together. I think Noble did as well. So there were a good handful of brands that were taking meaningful action. I thought, and there were some that were taking kind of less than meaningful action. So maybe paying some lip service to community. But for the most part, we saw people really show up in a big way.
And 3 months into that, you're still going strong, and CrossFit changes ownership.
Oh, well, I haven't even touched on the most impactful thing that we did. If you don't mind, could we touch on that for a second? All right. So let's go 3 weeks in. March 18th goes by, and then, we get towards the end of March, and then we, kind of come in early to mid-April. And you remember this. I mean, nobody still really knew what was going on. We were all kind of holding out hope for May to bring kind of, a return to normalcy. But that hope started to diminish pretty quickly as time progressed in April. And so I had several conversations with a number of friends, and I believe you were one of them. I can't remember. The time distortion is just a mess from COVID times. But I'm fortunate to have a good group of friends who own gyms and kind of provide a sounding board sometimes. And everybody really appreciated what we were doing with the community coalition profit sharing piece. But it wasn't, like I said, that wasn't keeping anybody in business. That wasn't going to be super impactful for anyone really. That was just more of a meaningful gesture. And many of the gym owners that I talked about were growing increasingly concerned about what May would bring, because what we saw was a lot of people at that time, nobody canceled their membership in March because nobody knew what the hell was happening, right? And then April came along, and for the most part, everybody stuck around and decided to, take some equipment from the gym or try these at-home Zoom workouts or whatever. But it was getting kind of tough for a lot of people to justify continuing to pay, $150, $200 gym membership when they couldn't go to the gym, couldn't work out with friends, couldn't get hands-on coaching. And so, gym owners recognize this. And quite frankly, I think that everybody was kind of at a loss for what to do. And so that was the common problem that everybody shared. There was an idea that I had that I remember at the time thinking this could go either really, really well or really, really poorly. It's probably not going to be anywhere in between. And that idea was rooted in the notion that O2 and some of our brand partners, we could all kick in a $25 gift card to our websites to encourage a member to keep their gym memberships active in the month of May. So if O2 did it, it would just be $25. But wouldn't it be cool if O2 and Born Primitive and a few of other brand partners, wouldn't it be great if we each did it? And we each said, okay, we're going to give a $25 gift card to our websites, combined among 4 brands, $100 total. And that was the idea. We would come together to offer that to really every gym member in America who's working out at a CrossFit gym. And as long as they kept their memberships active in the month of May. And so we announced that at the end of April. I think it was April 28th. We announced this program that we branded Stay for May. And we said, every gym member who keeps their membership active for May gets a $100 gift card to O2, Born Primitive, Peoria, and Bear Complex, as long as they keep that membership active. And we had more inbound in 2 or 3 days from gym members wanting to make sure their gym qualified, gym owners telling us it was the most that any brand or any organization had ever done for them to help them at a time like this. We had more inbound in 2 days than we had the preceding 2 years combined easily. And so that program was super successful because it was a win for everybody. The gym owner got something at no cost of value to offer to their gym members for keeping their memberships active. And the gym members got something at no cost as long as they kept their gym memberships active, $100 gift card to some brands they already liked. And the brands involved got a tremendous amount of trial. Granted, it was subsidized, like nobody was making money from these sales, but the trial was super impactful because O2 got 10,000 new customers in a matter of a couple of weeks, and that was pretty impactful for us and the other brands. So it was one of those rare win-win-win situations, and we ended up having about 60,000 CrossFitters participate in that initiative in 1 month.
That's really amazing, man. So you're going through all that. All these CrossFitters are participating, but meanwhile, CrossFit HQ itself is kind of going through some turmoil. And how did the community coalition interact or dance around that?
That whole month of June, it felt like the world was on fire. And I don't know if any if any business owner or member of the community, for that matter, really knew how to react to that. With everything else going on, it just seemed like, oh my God, here's another thing. But we took a pretty firm stance early on to clarify what we stood for as a brand at O2, and we saw our partners do something similar. And I remember being really, really, really skeptical that any sort of transaction was going to occur from Glassman to another party in any sort of time frame that would really mitigate the damage that was being done to the brand. And it was really unfortunate, I thought, because just another thing, because now every CrossFit gym owner across the globe had to, further justify their value to their members, and further, it was just like kicking a man when he's down. It was just another thing. And I remember having a conversation with a good friend of mine who has been working at CrossFit forever. And, he and I were both like, this is terrible. There's no way that Glassman is going to sell anytime soon. And there's no way that this damage can be undone anytime soon. And there's just going to be, it's going to be a steady decline of people leaving CrossFit. And so I was shocked when the announcement came through that Glassman had sold CrossFit to somebody else. I didn't know the new guy, did some light Googling, seemed like a good thing, but I was just floored that it happened in the time frame that it happened in, and really excited too, really excited.
So you actually met with some people at HQ. I'm not sure if Rosa was among them at first, because they saw, I think, what you were doing with the community coalition, and they thought, okay, maybe this is something we can get behind.
I did. I when he joined, I reached out to him, as I'm sure a lot of people did, and we had just gotten some really great coverage from that initiative. We landed the cover of Entrepreneur Startups magazine with an article on how we managed through COVID and how we managed to grow pretty significantly while at the same time benefiting our core community. And so I sent him that article. I was like, hey, just thought you'd want to see what some members of your community have been up to. And he responded right away. He was like, this is awesome, man. Let's hop on the phone and get to know each other a little bit. And so we did. And I can't imagine how many of those calls he was having at the time, but to his credit, we talked for a good half hour within a few weeks of his assuming ownership of CrossFit. And I felt pretty strongly after that conversation that, that the future of CrossFit was in really good hands.
So now, this podcast is coming out on kind of the day after a big announcement with CrossFit, and I've got to assume that all this goodwill really led up to this point, right?
It did. I mean, we've, I don't think that I don't think that the actions that O2 and others have taken over the past 18 months have gone unnoticed by that many folks. And I'm really proud of that. It was a moment where we got to show off our values that we've been living for a long time: honesty, humility, and hustle, to the world. And I'm proud of my team, and I'm proud of the initiatives, and I'm proud of the impact. And what we've seen unfold since the new CrossFit administration is that there's a lot of folks who are attached to CrossFit who were parts of those initiatives and were really supporters of O2 and the Community Coalition and what we were doing from the outset. And we've been in a fortunate position such that we've gotten to know a lot of those folks at the senior leadership levels of CrossFit, and have entertained various partnership campaigns and partnership activities and partnership structures. And by the time that this podcast airs, we will be one of 2 drink brands that are offered on CrossFit's brand new affiliate partner network, which I think is a brilliant idea. And that's something that we're super, super bullish on, both from O2's perspective, but also even more so from the value that this is going to provide to CrossFit affiliates. It's basically pulling together some best-in-class vendors to provide really, really strong offers to the CrossFit community, better than they can get anywhere else. And O2 is proud to be a part of that.
That's great, man. Well, hey, tell us about the program. Like, what can CrossFit affiliates expect from this?
I think that it's still. I mean, we're weeks away from this, and it's still unfolding as we speak. It's a very new program for everybody. But at its core, the idea is rooted in the principle of CrossFit finding new and unique ways to make the $3,000 affiliate fee a no-brainer for people. And when CrossFit went out to affiliates at various points over the course of the last 12 months or so and asked them what they could do to help, it was all about, help me get more members and help me cut costs. So drive sales and lower costs. And to CrossFit's credit, they've really focused on bringing some programs to fruition that do exactly that. The CrossFit Affiliate Partner Network being the first, that at least that I'm a part of and aware of. People can log into CrossFit.com, and as long as you're an affiliate, you'll be presented with a landing page, basically, that will have, I'm not sure how many partners at launch. I want to say around 10, but everything from drink partners to supplement partners and various equipment providers, and you'll be able to access special deals as an affiliate from those partners. And I can say definitively that O2's deal that we're offering CrossFit affiliates through the CrossFit APN network is the best that we've ever done, and it's the best that we'll ever do. because it's incredibly impactful. At least that's my intention, for affiliates who want to drive some really meaningful, profitable retail sales at their gyms. And so we're offering 55% margins on our product, which is really, really high. Standard best in class is about 40% in the CPG industry. And we will be also offering a mini fridge, a branded mini fridge, which I haven't done before, and I'm excited to get off the ground too. And then last but not least, we have a program that was rooted in the Stay for May concept, where we're offering affiliates who buy O2 through the APN unlimited $100 O2 Born Primitive, RPM, Peoria, and Four Sigmatic gift cards that they can award to every new member who walks through their gym over the course of the rest of this year and next year. And that's been a really, really well-received program so far, as it's been in beta mode.
That's amazing. And so if you're a gym owner and you're listening to this, here's how you can picture yourself using these cards. When a new member comes in, right now, many gym owners are tempted to give a discount to incentivize the member to sign up. Instead of doing that, and you should never do that, but instead of doing that, you can give a bonus. And what Dave has done here is given you the bonus that you can give to the client. So it's basically a $100 gift card. And if the client signs up today, they start going through your on-ramp program. You can choose when to give them the gift card, but it's a great incentive if you want to help them decide to sign up that day, or it's just a great new member bonus for somebody as a reward for signing up. So I think it checks a lot of boxes for CrossFit affiliates, and the beautiful part is that it's brands that a lot of people would want to go after anyway, right?
Yeah, totally. And we designed it to be kind of like a new member fitness starter package. Hydration from O2, you get a jump rope from RPM, you can get your protein from Peoria or Four Sigmatic, and some gear and apparel from Born Primitive. So it's the gyms that have had the most success with it have positioned it as a fitness starter pack, to help along your journey.
It's amazing. I mean, I remember last year at the game, so many people saying, like, what are you doing for gift boxes for new members? How are you rewarding them? And they would ask me, because we ship gift boxes to every gym owner in Two Brain. But it was tricky because they'd have to hold inventory, or they would have to put out money to buy the skipping ropes or whatever. And so finally the idea just kind of died, but this is a much better way to revitalize the idea and reward your members and give them a bonus and give them some equipment. It's just amazing for retention and conversion.
Thanks, man. I haven't been a part of that many things in my career that are such a win-win-win for everybody involved.
Yeah.
And so we're really, really pumped about this program. It's going to be free for anyone who becomes an O2 wholesale partner through the APN, and we're going to continue to build on it and refine it in the future. So this is one of many things that we feel we can bring to the table, in addition to just a great tasting hydration drink for gyms, as we feel we can help them not only drive retail sales, but also do some positive impact on the retention side as well.
Great, man. So CrossFit affiliates can find out about this by just logging into the CrossFit website. What about non-CrossFit affiliates? Because you do work with other gyms. Where can they get more information on this offer from you, Dave?
So the best way to do that would probably be just to send us an email at gyms@drinko2.com and ask about the new member gift card program. And we're offering that, I believe it's the first pack of 25 are free for everybody, and we can make sure that's the case for Two Brain listeners. And then for every pack of 25 that follows, we're just asking you pay cost, which is $15 basically for materials and shipping and handling. And the materials are cool. It's a tangible, it's a real life, gift card. It comes in a beautiful branded box, and it's got within the box, there's a very nice thing that you can hand people when they join. So that's probably the easiest way. gyms@drinko2.com. That's the letter O, the number 2. And then we also have a webpage that folks can find out more on. It's communitycoalition.fitness/2brain. And that has the program on it too.
We'll link that. Thanks so much, Dave. This is great. And you're right. We don't always get to see these win-win-win scenarios, but when we do, I love it when they come from Help First initiative. like you guys had going so strongly right from the start of COVID. So thank you for that.
No, it's our pleasure, man. It's been the honor of my career to be in a position to do some good and grow O2 while we're at it. So it's been a blast.
That's great.